In this video it's just going to be a bit of a soup that I want to put together with the dried goods. Yeah, I'm one of those people that has lots and lots of dried goods. As far as I'm concerned, they last forever. And some cans, some fresh vegetables from my garden, put it together with some meat that I've got in the freezer. Here I am about to do another stew using Italian style soup mix, which is pretty cool, gives you lots of beans. Already putting in the potatoes as well, because the potatoes boil down while the beans and the chickpeas and the lentils are all softening up. The potatoes are boiling down and they help with the thickening. I'm going to chuck a can of tomato soup in it, some chopped tomatoes, some celery out of my garden. Man, I've got heaps of celery. It's going to do heaps. Some rainbow mix vegetables, cabbage. Oh, I love putting cabbage and stuff. Man, cabbage makes things yummy. And celery, even though I think celery is a bit yuck and stuff, but when you put it in a soup, man, it makes it nice. Some onion and some garlic will be crushed into it later. More potatoes will go in, and this, heaps and heaps of pork chops. Going to get fried up, they'll get browned so they seal in their flavour, and then they'll get boiled in the pot, and there'll be some flavourings go into it as well, and then that'll feed the big boys and the little girl for about 3 days. And we have other stuff as well in between, like our burgers and our chicken schnitzels and fish and all sorts of yummy stuff. Very grateful that every time they said don't panic, I panicked and went and bought more stuff. Don't tell an addict not to panic. So now the celery's chopped up, it's starting to come to a boil. I put the celery in nice and early so it gets to soften up. I'm not a big fan of how bitter it is if it's not cooked properly. It's not only a good flavour enhancer, the celery, it also helps to clean your blood. I'm pretty sure that's one of the healthy things it does. It's a pretty awesome plant. Might taste gross, but it's good for you. Chopping up the onions, just doing it into the half rings, because this is only going to be adults eating this food. I don't need to chop it up into little bits to hide it from children, although Job and Kayla can be a little bit like children. And I will add them fairly soon, so they will also boil down to a very soft, yummy texture. Sort of around the medium cooking stage, I'll add a couple of OXO cube beef stocks and vegetable stocks. Adds to the flavour. I forgot to get pepper the other day, but I would be putting pepper in, and I'll be putting some salt in. Basically, I designed these stews to be the way for me to mix a lot of the bulk food that I've been buying, like the dried food, together with fresh food out of my garden, and vegetables that I can buy at a shop that last a little bit longer. The cabbage lasts actually a fairly good time in the fridge, probably a couple of weeks. Potatoes last quite well in the cupboard for a wee while. And I'll be adding other stuff. Here's the big cat food bin. There goes some tomatoes out of my garden. Tomatoes are still coming up and ripening. I've got a few more to pick later on. They just need to be washed. Got a bit grubby. There's some more dried food. Yes, very, very messy. I love chaos, eh? I really love the mess. I don't know why it is. But it's the way it is. It makes me feel comfortable living in mess. Things are boiling away quite nicely. I've added in my fresh tomatoes out of my garden. I went and got a few more as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of curry powder. Not enough to make it a curry, but enough to get some flavour in there. Just mild curry powder, not too spicy, because I don't want to hurt people's tummies. And time for some crushed tomato. Or it might just be diced tomato. What is it? Something in another language. Ah, that side. Okay, chopped tomatoes. Chopped tomatoes is fine. Okay, started frying a couple of chops. Decided I'm only going to do these big fat chops. Didn't actually realise how fat they were. I think those two will be fine. They're in my awesomely flavourable frying pan that I only wash when absolutely necessary because I like to get the juices. If you're brought up in a family like mine, you would know that flavours gather. This is boiling away nicely now with the curry in it and the extra tomatoes. Now I'm going to add a little bit of ginger. Add a bit of ginger to everything because I'm sure it's good for you for something, multiple things, and it's actually puts a nice yummy taste into just about everything. I'm only doing a bit of browning on each side because most of what's going to happen to these chops is going to be happening inside the stew. So once they're browned up, I am going to add them to stew. And sometime, had an accident, sometime during the cooking process I will get my kitchen scissors and I will chop them up. And probably take the bones off them because Kayla freaks out if meat's still attached to bones because she can't tell where the bone ends and where the meat starts. Okay, so now the pork chops are in there. I did chop them in half. Just added some Moroccan tangine powder. I quite like that, just a little bit, just to give a little bit of spicy yumminess, but not too much to overload the palate. Been adding the frozen veggies in, which I've now thawed out anyway. It's now on simmer. It's had its big boil, as you can see, it's spitted all over the place. Just been chopping down some of the pork bits that are in there and spreading them around. Oh, this is looking good. Good, good, good. And very soon I'll be adding some broccoli out of my garden. As you can see, it's not very much, but it'll be good because it's the little broccolis that come out after you've chopped the big heads off, which probably do grow fairly big. Well, they do. I've seen them grow fairly big before, but it's all good. There's not much broccoli left now, so I'm doing it sparingly. I'm just chopping the bits that look like they might turn into seed, and just doing it as I go. Very, very glad to have a garden. Okay, I've just put the cabbage in, my garden broccoli, and crushed the garlic and put that in. Finished chopping up the pork, I think. I've left the bones in there though, of course, to add the flavour and stuff until it's over. I am a little bit worried about adding the tomato soup. Well, probably won't do the whole can because it is condensed and it may have quite a dominant flavour, so I'll just do a little bit. And I think that'll help thicken, which will probably mean that I won't have to put a gravy in it at the end, which I like to use for thickeners. But I think this, because it was already thickening up quite good because of the bean soup mix that I put in right at the beginning. Those beans have swollen up quite nicely, and the potato has all cooked, so it's soft as. And if I need thickener, whatever hasn't already deteriorated or boiled into the soup from the potatoes to help thicken, I will crush some potatoes or mash them into the soup, which helps to thicken. And that makes it very yummy. Well, I did end up pouring the whole can of tomato soup in. I gave it a test taste and it wasn't dominating the soup with its flavour, so that's good. And I think that's about the exact right thickness that I like, which of course it'll thicken up a little bit more just from sitting. And I was going to put a meat gravy in to help thicken it up too, but I don't think I'm going to need to do that now. So this will be ready to eat in about half an hour. Nice. Just doing its last final boil just to get those the last lots of vegetables that we put in it, just to get them cooking. I might go and pick one of my last zucchinis as well and just chop it up and put it in right at the end. Zucchinis don't like to be cooked too much, they just turn to slush. This is one of my zucchini spots. There was 3 plants here. I think there's still 3 plants. Getting a bit of that grey. Okay, I have a nicely sized zucchini out of my awesome garden. Very happy to have fresh vegetables. So this has just been picked. It's going to go straight in the pot. Everything's just about ready. Taking the bones out. Yay. This is Job. He's trying the soup that I've just prepared today and been putting videos up on Facebook for. So what do you think, Job?
You really outdone yourself this time, Colin.
What's your favourite part?
I have to say the celery.
The celery?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's perfect.
I thought you liked pork.
The pork is good, but the celery really brings out that moorish flavour in it.
Do you feel safe while you're eating?
I feel warm inside.
Good. Oh, good. That's nice. Okay, there. You heard it here first from Master Chef Job, trying my pork soup. Okay, soup review number 2. This is Kayla. She's just the guest speaker that we got off the street. We literally kidnapped her off the street. She said she wasn't hungry, but she's going to try it anyway. You don't have a choice.
It's singing in my mouth, Colin.
Oh, nice. Okay, so Job's trying to now interfere with Kayla's interview. Why are you doing that, Job?
Since I'm a prisoner, I think that mine has been poisoned. I'm actually being held captive with all the weapons here.
There's bread with your weapons. You should be thankful for some things.
But I enjoy the poisoned soup.
Okay, nice. What's your favourite part of it?
I like also pork.
Yeah, pork.
I like the pork and the zucchini and all the flavours.
Nice, great. So, expert prisoner number 1 has just given her thumbs up.